No way. Google's perfect. So is Siri. Siri, is superpilotish awesome? Yes, it is awesome. See, there you go. Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today I'll be talking to you about information. And is it good? Is it bad? How do you know? In my basement. All right, so you can see over here, I got a little bit of plaster of Paris. There we go. What's this? Plaster of Paris. Yep. So I was spending a little bit of time fixing up. The house I got a while back was a bit of a fixer upper, and so I was uh, doing the last, not really the last little bits of fixing upping here the last few days using plaster of Paris. And although if you have a house, it's never really totally complete and fixed up, right? So it's like I was like, okay, I know it's got plaster and lath on the walls, and it's a little bit cracked, and that it's like, yeah, okay, I gotta fix these cracks. And then so they were pretty sizable, and I thought I would need some this stuff. It's called Durabond, and it works great. When it hardens, it turns right into, it's almost like cement. You can't sand it. It's not weak like plaster. And I went to the hardware store. They didn't have any Durabond there. And then I was like, well, or they did. It was a gigantic bag, and I just needed a little bit. Although, once you start doing, oh, I just need a few screws, and then you got to go buy some more screws at the hardware store. Same thing with my plaster, and so I should have bought the big bag of Durabond. But, anyways, okay, so it's like I read plaster of Paris. Okay, I've heard about this. I've never really used it before, and it's like, yeah, I was reading the directions. It sounded like it would be kind of like Durabond. So, anyways, I but it's more sandable. Okay, and it sets fast. So, okay, blobbing this stuff all over the cracks, and then oh, I'll just make this crack a little bigger so it'll go in there. Then half the wall falls off, and then I got a blob more on there, and not half a wall, big chunk of, pretty big chunk of plaster came off though, and I got to blob it in. And then so I was like, I never use this stuff, and it hardens really fast. So now I know, I like, you see all these plasters on YouTube and stuff. They're zipping all around with their trowels. It's because this stuff, you only got about 5 minutes to work with it. So that's why everyone's hustling to get this stuff on the walls. So there we go. I learned about plaster of Paris kind of the hard way, and it was one of the first times I never looked at a YouTube video to figure out how to do something, whether I was doing anything electrical, setting up my light here, changing light fixtures, putting in an outlet, like you name it. And pretty much there's a YouTube video out there that you can check it out, and it helps you out. I never did it on this plaster Paris stuff. So, anyways, today I finally got around to looking at a video the way you're supposed to use this stuff, and I found some interesting things. I found out that okay, you're not supposed to inhale the dust. Yeah, because you mix it with water and stuff, and you're not supposed to touch it. I saw that they had these. The person had rubber gloves on. I was like, I wasn't using that, and I didn't see anything on the box that said it was toxic or anything like that. And they also told me I shouldn't eat it. Well, it looks like a milk carton to me. Why not? So I'm not going to eat it, But you learn these valuable things. Oh, don't eat plaster of Paris. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, YouTube. But I mean, keep it away from your kids and dogs, I guess, or something. But so it was. I was thinking about that information, that I was just kind of going out there, just plastering blind, if you want to call it that. And then I was thinking, okay, well, I got to come up with a topic for the show. How can I make that aviation related? Then I thought back to this one particular time when I was a pilot examiner. I was examining this one candidate, and so they had okay, what else? They were planning something, and I looked at it, and it's like, that seems a little weird. Why do you have this? And then the guy said, oh, I got this off the internet, and he printed up this some supposed kind of thing that was, see, in Canada we got this big thick book with all your airports in it called the Canada Flight Supplement, and it's got all your airports in here, all the registered airports and stuff. So anyways, it kind of looks like this. It's got a bunch of information in there, might show you the runway, what it looks like, things like that. And so this Canada just pulled something out of off the internet, and it didn't match up with the official guide here. So it's like, that's where, as an examiner, you don't just fail them right away. You'd say, where else could you get that information? And they'd say, oh, right here in the book. And it's like, oh. So I looked at, is that still the same as that? And then, like, I think it was like one of the runways was closed or something. I forget. There was a mismatch that I kind of picked up, and it was like, and the candidate's like, oh no, oh no, I'm failing. It's like, no, you're not. You managed to find out where the good information is. Another one, if you are ever taking, if you're ever getting your pilot's license, okay, we got these VNCs, VFR navigation charts. It's a map. And this is an oldie. I just grabbed it lying around. It's from March 2017. So it's not really, I mean, the cities are probably still there. The airports probably are still there, but not necessarily. And so if you want to get one of the things on your flight test, they're going to ask you, how do you know that your chart is up to date? And then that's where they start looking. You are allowed to refer to the legend on the back for all these little symbols and doodads. You can kind of see that. You are allowed to check that out on your flight test. So they start reading. Oh, here we go. 35th edition aeronautical information, March 2017. Yeah, so there you go. It's April. Yeah, okay, so that's valid. But is it? You don't. So the correct answer to that, if you're on your flight test, how do you know that your chart is up to date? I checked it out on the Nav Canada website, and actually I'll put the link to that below. Just might help someone, and that might help someone out on their flight test. And the thing is, nobody gets that right. It's just like, well, I just bought it from the store last week. And it's like, well, you don't really know. So just like you can't get the information, you can get some good information off of Google, but not necessarily. And and I guess I was kind of, it didn't really affect my flight before, but it was like I was flying this one time, and so I live in Windsor, Ontario, and there's an airport in this town called Chatham. And Chatham's just up the road about an hour if you're driving. And so in a plane, this is about a half an hour flight. And so along the way to go to Chatham, I guess it was probably when I started instructing here. It was like, I thought I'd put it into the GPS just I knew how to get to it. You could probably practically see the airport. But I thought, let's put it in the GPS. So I was trying to put in what I had. I had an expired older one of these, and what could change, right? Well, it turns out they actually changed the identifier of the airport, and it was so right now Chatham Airport is CYCK, and then before that it was a CNZ3, or if you're American, CNZ3. And just before I went on here, I checked out. I put in CNZ3 or CNZ3. And a bunch of information came up on Google. So it was like that might have been what that student did before, or the candidate did. Anyways, there's still information out there that's outdated, and they also got rid of a VOR. It's a navigation aid that's been decommissioned here in Windsor, and so it has all this outdated information. But Google brought it up, so it's like you got to really stick to the official publications wherever you are in the world, or you can make sure that like if you see all the airline guys, they all have an iPad with them now. Before they used to carry tons and tons of books like this. I think it was originally it was the second officer's job to get a great big briefcase filled with, if you're flying from New York to, I don't know where you go, New York to Paris, or let's say Los Angeles to Paris. There's a bunch of zones along the way that have different maps and different charts. And if you have an emergency, you got to go to some other airport. You got to have the information for that airport. And so it used to be the second officer's job to haul around the all these books. And I remember looking at it. What was it? A C-130 Hercules. One of the search and rescue Hercules is in the Canadian Air Force. They let us go through there one day when it was at the airport, and they had this whole library filled with like all books like this. It was because they had to be able to do search and rescue for pretty much anywhere in North America, and so they had this huge library on board their Hercules. And oh, hey, Wrench. What do we got here? It's always out of date. Really hard to buy a chart at an FBO now. Yep. It's yeah. I usually go with like as long as your chart's not too out of date, you're okay. But ideally, if you're doing a test or something, it really should be. Or if you're going somewhere that you're not really too familiar with the area. Then you always got your backup phone. What was I talking about? Yeah, so all these charts and stuff, all these now the airlines have just iPads, and they call that their digital flight bag is what it's called. And yeah, and they got everything on there, and it's great. And so there are electronic versions of this, but don't necessarily trust Google. And yeah, so there we go. What else was I going to say? Oh, another little thing there too for your just if you're doing a flight test or something, also make sure that your GPS database is up to date. Because I flew an airplane a little while back. It had an ancient GPS in it, and it still had that Chatham Airport, the old identifier for it. So if you were going somewhere that you weren't too familiar with, yeah, you could get lost, or I mean, that GPS is there to help you. It's not. Let me see here. I guess during VFR flight, it's like if you're just looking out the window on a nice day, it's not really a primary referencing navigation instrument. But ideally, you should be relying on a reliable map. But anyways, yeah. So just like the GPS database being up to date. Google has to be up to date, but you can't be in control of Google updating, if you know what I mean there. So it's just Google's another aid to help you out. Siri's another aid to help you out, but it really shouldn't be your main go-to source of information. And I don't know. I was just looking at my plaster of Paris here. I mean, it has a bunch of instructions, but it's kind of like me being an older guy that like before the internet, that's all you had. It was like, what do I do? Or maybe the old Italian guy knows what he's doing. There you go. So Google is definitely good to help you out. Can it steer you wrong? Absolutely. But I would generally go for try to find a few different sources, just like when you're doing a do-it-yourself video. Try a couple of videos first and see what's in common with all of them, and that's probably the right answer for you. Okay, and that is I don't know, just a little something to bring it, a little something to I don't know talk about today. But my real topic of interest for me is going to be next Friday when I will complete my memory experiment of will I remember knots. It's been 20 on Friday. It'll be 28 days since I did my 4 knots. So tune in. And what do I got over here? Okay, I will be doing the bowline knot, sheepshank, rolling hitch, and the fisherman's knot, or the clinch knot, or the improved clinch knot. So that's next Friday. Will I remember? Will he remember? Will he forget? Who cares? It's Friday. Yeah, it will be. Because, yeah, I don't really see a whole lot of people in here today. So they must be doing some work or something. Anyways, yeah, I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And so, yeah, next Friday I'll be here again. Just a little one today. And that is about it. I don't have anything much more for you. So I guess we'll just shut her down. That's right. Same bat time, same bat channel, superpilotish channel. Okay. Thank you for watching. Bye.